You finally found someone who texts back, someone who shows up when they say they will, who doesn't leave you guessing, who is steady in a way that feels almost unfamiliar. And somehow, that's the part that scares you. Not the distance, not the mixed signals, the steadiness itself. Think about the last time someone was genuinely good to you, consistent, calm. They didn't play games. They didn't disappear for days and come back like nothing happened. They just stayed. And somewhere in your chest, instead of relief, you felt something else. A tightness. A quiet voice asking, "What's wrong with this?" Not because anything actually was wrong, but because it felt too easy, too quiet, too good to hold on to without something eventually breaking it. So you did what you always do without realizing it. You found a reason to worry. A reply that came an hour late, a tone in a text that probably wasn't even there, a silence that meant nothing, until you turned it into everything. You told yourself you were just being careful, just paying attention. But underneath it, you were bracing, waiting for the version of this where it all falls apart, because some part of you has never fully believed it wouldn't. Here's the strange part. None of this is really about them. It's about what your body learned love was supposed to feel like a long time before this person ever showed up. If love, growing up, ever came with conditions, if it was warm one day and cold the next, if you had to read a room before you knew whether you were safe in it, your nervous system learned something important. It learned that love is supposed to feel uncertain, something you chase, something you earn, something you hold on to with both hands, because letting go even a little might mean losing it completely. So when love finally shows up calm, your body doesn't read it as safe, it reads it as unfamiliar. And to a nervous system trained on chaos, unfamiliar can feel a lot like danger. That's the quiet trap underneath anxious attachment. It was never really afraid of bad love. It's afraid of good love. Because good love doesn't match the pattern it spent years learning to expect. So instead of relaxing into it, some part of you keeps looking for the catch. Keeps waiting for the moment this person shows you who they really are. So a part of you starts testing. Quietly. Not on purpose. You pull back a little just to see if they'll notice. You go quiet just to see if they'll still care enough to ask why. You start a small, pointless argument. Not because you're actually angry, but because some old, protective part of you needs proof they won't leave. And when they don't leave, when they stay steady through all of it, you don't always feel relief. Sometimes you feel more anxious, because now there's something real to lose. Now the stakes are higher than they've ever been. There's a specific kind of loneliness in this, loving someone and quietly waiting for the moment it all falls apart. Smiling on the outside, while some part of you keeps one hand near the door, just in case. Being present in the relationship while another part of you is already rehearsing how you'll survive its ending. Maybe it looks like reading a 2-word reply 5 times, hunting for a tone that was never actually there. Maybe it looks like feeling closest to someone right before you pick a fight you don't even mean, as if closeness itself is the thing that needs to be interrupted. Or maybe it looks like slowly pulling away from someone kind, because some quiet part of you already believes it's going to end. So you'd rather be the one who ends it, on your own terms, before it can be done to you. Or maybe it's quieter than any of that. Just a low hum underneath good moments. A candlelit dinner where you're only half present because part of you is already grieving something that hasn't even happened yet. None of this makes you difficult or dramatic or too much, like you've probably been told, maybe even by yourself. It makes you someone who learned very early that safety wasn't something you could count on. And that lesson doesn't disappear just because someone finally treats you well. So, why does calm feel more dangerous than chaos? The answer isn't really about your partner at all. It goes back further than that. Back to a version of you who is still, in some quiet corner, waiting to be let down. Still bracing. Still watching for the moment the floor gives out. That version of you has been running the same alarm for a long time. Long before this relationship. Maybe long before you even had the words for what you were feeling. Here's what most people never get told. You are not broken for feeling this way. You are not too much, and you are never too sensitive. You are running a survival pattern that once made complete sense. A pattern that kept a smaller, younger version of you safe. Back when love actually was unpredictable. Back when paying close attention to every small shift really did protect you. The problem was never that you feel this fear. The problem is that you've been feeling it without understanding where it came from. Without realizing you were reacting to something old and calling it something new. And once you see it clearly, once you can quietly say to yourself, This isn't about them. This is an old alarm going off in a room that's actually safe. Something starts to shift. You stop mistaking peace for a warning sign. You stop testing people just to prove they'll fail. You start letting good things stay good instead of waiting for them to prove they won't. It doesn't happen all at once, but it starts the moment you can name what's actually happening inside you. You don't have to fix this overnight. You don't have to trust perfectly starting today. Healing something this old doesn't happen in one quiet realization at the end of a video. But maybe next time something calm and good comes your way, you can pause just for a second and ask yourself if the danger you're sensing is actually there, or if it's an old memory wearing the shape of a new moment. Because love that's calm isn't love that's boring. Sometimes it's just the first love that's finally safe enough to stay.